past week, Nvidia is down around 10%, and it continues taking an absolute beating. Today, it hit lows of around 118, 117, and again, you continue to see more and more bloodshed across the board. Now, the other overall viewpoint of the market, again, is you're seeing a lot of that downside when you look at overall SPY continuing on the path straight down, breaking below your 100 MA. You go into NASDAQ, you're breaking below your 200 SMA, but trying to find a little support here as of right now. But again, the thing that really pushed you over the edge on the downside for today, when we look at semiconductors in the market as a whole, was your new Atlanta Fed GDP expectation. Now, this is the first one, and I posted this on Twitter so you can get more information. The link will be down below, but you can see exactly kind of what happened. Now, previously, we were expected to be growing at 2.3%, and then it came out at negative 1.5%, which is the first time we've seen this negative or just negative growth at all when the expectation. You can get more from the White House and what happened there as well. The link will be down below. So again, you get more information. So it's all there for you. But again, this is the overall growth outlook. Once this came out, we were automatically flipping the board and looking for downside. Now, the one thing that I will say is when you look at this, and again, this is just a better viewpoint. If you want to get more access to Discord, what we're looking at every single day, the link will be down below as well. But again, literally when this came out, put it in Twitter around 10 a.m., put it on actually Twitter first, and then I went to Discord, but put it there. And then literally within 10 minutes, I went short on AVGO. We got in those around $7.70, $7.80. They ended up hitting, I think they actually went a little bit higher, but those went all the way to $10.50 a contract. They went higher than $10.30. They were $10.50. But again, what we kind of looked at here on the day from this. Now, you are seeing a little bit of a bounce. So going into Nvidia, you're seeing a little bit of that bounce as well. Now, the main question too from this is, are you going to see Nvidia's earnings bolster Nvidia? Because again, you had Nvidia's earnings, you had a decent reaction where you popped up the next day, but then selling commenced immediately after. Now, again, I'm giving you my visuals on Nvidia's earnings. I think they were pretty good. The path to overall growth is very good as well. Not only they're growing with data centers, their automotive chips are also suspected to grow almost 5x on the year, which is also incredible. And we do have good expectations going into next year with what Tesla's doing with FSD and how this will roll over into Nvidia growing even further. So again, more things that we're looking at deep down the line with Nvidia, and how I do believe this is that one area, as you're seeing a dip, it gets more and more valuable to buy every single earnings. Again, your PE ratio, I mean, just a week ago, we were sitting at almost 60. Now you're down at 40. Your forward PE ratio is even more impressive. The company is just it's the most impressive name to look at across the board when you're looking at stocks, when you're looking at margins. They got their margins higher as well from earnings to around 75%, which is incredible as well. So Nvidia, you love to see that. Now, when I look deeper in the market, I look at other names. Again, you look at, because semiconductors obviously are more than one name. AMD, over the past month, you're down 12%. Over the past 6 months, you're down 31%. So again, you look at these names and there's a lot of blood out there. And a name you saw me just mention was AVGO Broadcom, which is really taking a beating as well. So again, I don't want to single out, like, yeah, Nvidia is getting some downside, but the more you look here as well, like, look at this level that you're looking at right now. You're probably going to come fill that gap down towards 185, 186. So there still is most likely some downside in the pipeline across the board, because again, I think AVGO will come down there. Now, the other part of this video that you probably came here for was SMCI. And SMCI, in my opinion, it's something that I tried to talk about here on the channel. I got a lot of hate about it because I was, pushing a negative viewpoint on the stock. And that's never the point of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just tell you an unbiased viewpoint of how I see the market moving and overall expectations. Nothing I'm here is to ever tell you what I'm buying, tell you to buy this, tell you to sell this, right? And this is the video if you want to go watch right here. Watch before Nvidia stock earnings. By the way, SMCI is a scam. Go watch that. And I will tell you right now, I have not went short on SMCI even after this video, but I did warn you that this was a major red flag. Again, you go look at SMCI, the chart here, and I think like it's been all but clear. I said below the 200 SMA, the downside was there to 44, and I think I said down to 38. You actually went to right about that level as well. Your 100 MA is at $36. So nothing but downside since the report came out. Again, the report couldn't have been more clear. They fixed no issues. They put lipstick on a pig per se when we look at what's happening with the company. Nothing that they're doing gives you a sense of security, longevity, a company you'd want to invest in. If I look at SMCI, I look at Nvidia, I don't even know how there's a comparison when I'm looking at the dip that's happening in the market. So again, and I'm not telling you to YOLO, go buy Nvidia, do X, Y, or Z. I'm just telling you my viewpoint looking at good investments versus looking at really risky investments. that if I'm looking at, the only like positive is that I might make more money really quickly, but the risk is far, far superior in comparison if I look at some of these other better names. Even AVGO, in my opinion, is a much better name to buy than SMC. I think Broadcom is an amazing company. So when I look at semiconductors as a whole, very concerning. But when I look at a name like Supermicro, SMCI, I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we looking at this? This is garbage. Again, it's like looking at AMD. You go to the chocolate factory, you see Reese's, you see Snickers, you see Twix, but for some reason there's kitty litter on the ground, and you're like, that's what I'm going to take. No, that's crazy talk. That's why no one would do that. That's not logical. You're investing in literal trash. That's what this company is, in my opinion, and how I'm looking at it there. So again, across the board, what are we looking at going into this next week? In my opinion, I think you're seeing a little bit of a relief bounce here near the end of the week, and I don't think semis are finding too much strength. Again, you need to take a step back most of the time when we're looking at these charts, go to the daily time frame. And when you look at SMH, this chart, this, in my opinion, is one of the most concerning charts across the board. You have the 100 MA trying to cross downward on the 200 SMA. You're losing major love. You're losing your March 2024 highs. Very concerning, getting below 239. This is very weak. This could start pushing down quickly to 214. If that happens, you could be looking at an Nvidia stock near $100. You could be looking at AVGO sub 180 down to 170. You could be looking at AMD down $80 to $90. So again, as a whole, very, very concerning. Okay, NASDAQ, what's happening here? Now, I'll tell you right now, clearing this chart up for you, NASDAQ is trying to hold around its 100 MA. That's the only positive that's happening right now, okay? That's the only positive thing. ES is above its 100 MA here. You can see you're getting a hold there. That's good. You came down, touched it, kind of bouncing up right now. Dow is above its 200 SMA as well, but it's in between the 100 MA, and I think Dow is still going to come down to 42.6, 42.7. That's still on my outlook. So again, across the board, I don't love it. You're kind of in the middle ground of can you bounce? Are you going to bounce? But it doesn't seem like you're there just yet. Across the board, it seems like there's a lot of overall weakness with these sectors. You go into tech, specifically with XLK. Again, XLK, one of the biggest ETFs you should be watching out there as well. And again, more and more weakness. If you start to flip below 217, 218, I think this thing could roll down into 212 and possibly down towards 200, 204, give or take. And if that happens again, that's a name like Apple, which bounced to where you need to today. And again, this is probably one of the best charts out there right now for you guys going over the weekend. This is a very crucial chart. I'm going to tell you right now. You are bouncing exactly where you need to. Again, come back in here as well. You can see right here going into basically right there as well. But again, you can see what's happening. You're bouncing where you were getting rejected continually at this 237, 238. But again, you're holding your 100 MA. If you start to flip this level in Apple, sellers are going to get in and you're going to get aggressive. One great rule of thumb for overall strength in the stock market, right? I call it the trifecta when you're looking at NASDAQ, tech-heavy names, right? NQ, QQQ, whatever it may be. There's three major names: Apple, Nvidia, AVGO. When those stocks are all moving in the same direction, you're either going to get really good movement or really bad movement, right? To the down or to the upside, right? Which is, in theory, typically good movement overall, right? In my opinion, AVGO has a lot of downside potential. We look at Nvidia under the 200 SMA. If it doesn't hold 118, this level, this previous low you had back in early February, late January, you have downside back down to $108, $100. Apple, you start losing the support here. Downside back to the 200 SMA. The trifecta, if you will, has a lot of downside room and a lot of overall concerns. On top of that, now you're seeing, like I mentioned, this GDP expectation, which is just one report, right? It's just one report. But we start to see this snowballing right to the downside. You could see a lot of overall pain in a short amount of time. It's interesting that you're getting some of these intraday bounces. I wouldn't call them dead cat bounces because they're being sold off just so quickly, but you get some intraday bounce and then you just dump. And it's very similar what you're seeing here on the NASDAQ, right? You're trending below a resistance, just basing. And again, what happened at 100 MA? And then you tanked like 600 points, 700 points. So again, the concern has to still be there with what we're looking at. And again, this is just my opinion. If you have questions, comment down below. I'll let you guys know, give you guys a better update. I'll have another video going out tonight over some more mid caps, things I'm looking at across the board. So if you have questions, make sure you let me know. But that's what I'm watching right now. The large caps, I'm not seeing too much signs of strength. The one thing that I am seeing right now is Tesla getting a little bit of a bounce off its 200 SMA, but it's still not that convincing. The volume isn't that great when you look at the daily time frame. You would like to see more here. And you're just not seeing that just yet. So again, what I'm watching, how I'm attacking this. If you have questions, comment down below. See you next time.